Welcome to part 2 of my series of how to buy sets, how to buy little sets to make sure that you're going to make a profit. Now part 1 was all talking about pricing, how to get the best price. Today I'm going to be talking about how to choose the best theme. And of course that's related to how to get the good price as well, because the better the theme, the less you have to worry about getting a good price. So what kind of themes are there? What are all the themes that LEGO offers? Well, you can see a whole collection here. There's sort of the eternal themes, like city, that are always being repeated. There's always going to be fire. There's always going to be police. There are the licensed eternal themes, like the superheroes or the Star Wars, that are licensed themes and they have finite series within them, but they've just been going on and on forever and ever, so there's lots and lots of repetition. Then you have the gender-related themes, the girls with the mini dolls, with the friends and the princess and the elves line. So that's a whole nother set of themes there with a very specific audience. Another one with a specific audience will be your ideas and your architecture series that are more aimed at adults, less focused on minifigures. And you can tell because the boxes are much, much nicer on these sets targeted at adults. You also have LEGO's owned licensed themes. So you have from the TV show, LEGO Ninjago, and of course now from the LEGO movie, the LEGO Ninjago movie, as well as the LEGO Batman movie. So there's two different things there. There's the Ninjago and the Chima type sets that are licensed from TV shows, and then there's sort of the one-time shot sets that are licensed from the movies. And those will have a shorter shelf life, the movie sets, but they're still all within that LEGO universe. So there's a whole set of themes of that. And then lastly, the most important theme are the one-off themes that are licensed off a movie, like Jurassic World or Scooby-Doo. And why those themes are so important is because they have a start time and a finite stop time, and there's no opportunity for lots and lots of repetition. Also, if they're popular, they can bring people from outside of LEGO who are also interested in getting those LEGO sets. Now, of course, there are lots of different kinds of those themes, like Angry Birds, or the Jurassic World, or even Harry Potter, where there was some repetition, but still start and stop finite license. Lord of the Rings, Lone Ranger, there have been all sorts of these licenses, and those are ones that are really, really key. So how are you going to decide amongst all of these themes? Well, let's take a look at some data that BrickPicker has, and that is the best performing themes historically, and also the worst performing themes historically. Now on their website, you can see all the themes rated from best to worst. I just chose the top 10 and the bottom 10. And what can we learn from looking at the history of these sets? Well, you can see on the top 10, there are collectible minifigures Mixels. Those had crazy Series 1s, and they're really cheap, so a small price increase relates to a really big percentage increase. And what does that percentage increase mean? So CAGR, compound annual growth rate. If you take the initial retail cost of a set and then see what it's worth now and figure out what that percentage increase would be over the years, then that gives you the CAGR, the percentage increase. And now, obviously, if you get that price for less than retail price, then your percentage increase is going to be greater. So what other themes are on there? Well, you can see Jurassic World is on there. You can see Scooby-Doo is on there. You can see Speed Champions is on there as some of the very best performing themes. So what about some of the worst performing themes? Well, you see Dimensions way down there at the bottom. Could that be why LEGO is having so much trouble? Maybe if they would have taken all those cool minifigures from Dimensions and made them a collectible minifigure instead of a Dimension, things could be a little bit different. I have no idea how much money they poured into Dimensions. Anyway, you see some other interesting ones. Simpsons is on there. That one is just a little strange because there are only 2 sets in that. They're both big sets and they haven't retired. So of course, if you take the retail price and see what it's worth now, it hasn't done anything. Minecraft is on there. Only the first wave is retired, and there are so many sets that it's dragged down that entire theme. But most of those worst performing themes are sort of the mothballs of old themes that just have done nothing. So you can see how important a theme is in good performance. And why is it so important? Because if you chose Jurassic World as a theme that was going to do really well, you could have bought any of them and you would have done well and you would have made a profit. Whereas if you would have chosen Angry Birds as your theme, then you could have bought any of them and you wouldn't have done well. So some of it comes down to your intuition of what's going to do well. If your intuition is pulling you all towards Angry Birds, then maybe you need to think about doing something else. But if your intuition was good on Scooby-Doo, if it was good on Jurassic World, then you've done really well. It just makes it really, really easy. Now, these themes, of course, are retired. So what does LEGO offer us today? Well, let's go ahead and look at what LEGO has. So there it's scrolling by. There are over 30 themes there, encompassing 650 sets. It's just mind-boggling how much stuff there is. I can't think about all those themes because the show would take hours and hours to go through them all. Do you see anything that stands out? I don't really see anything that stands out currently, so you sort of have to fall back on some of the ones that have done really well in the past that are just general themes. So you have your architecture line that I think continues to do really well. You have your ideas line, which can do well and sometimes can't, so it's not a foolproof line. You have your speed champions on there. So those are ones that have done well that are currently offered, but there are none of these single license sets that really seem compelling right now. So how are you going to decide? Are you just going to buy those? That's sort of limited. You need to diversify a little bit. So the next thing that you go down to is the sub-theme. Within each of these groups, there are sub-themes of sets that can do really, really well on their own. So one of the eternal themes, like Star Wars, there's so many Star Wars, something like 90 Star Wars sets. I mean, that's just crazy number of sets. So what can you do? If you look at a sub-theme, let's say the Rebels sub-theme, then you're restricted to a much smaller set of sets. And this first wave of Rebels, I thought it was going to do really well. I liked it, my kids liked it, my friends liked it, so I said, great, I'm going to buy Rebels. And I didn't buy a lot of the other Star Wars stuff, and that turned out really well. Now, I skipped some of the Rebel sets, like the ATDP, because it seemed like such a silly set. It wasn't a core set like the Phantom or the Ghost, but I could have bought that too. It would have done great. Just concentrating on that sub-theme would have done really, really well. What about for Speed Champions? For Speed Champions, I concentrate on the sub-theme of just the cars, because that's what people want, just the cars, not the bigger stuff. So I just concentrate on buying cars. On the Friends, there are lots and lots of Friend sets, eternal puppies, eternal horses, eternal, pet shops, all this sort of stuff. So what's a cool sub-theme? I think the amusement park is a cool sub-theme. Now, one of my friends thinks it's not going to do so well. He says horses, just buy horses. Well, I'm still sort of burned by the fact that a long time ago, the Heart Lake vet killed Heart Lake Stables. And so then I've been down on horses ever since. But horses always do well. So maybe a sub-theme should be horses. Or I actually think a good sub-theme may be dolphins, right? Finding all the sets of Friends that have dolphins in them. And then you can sort of hone in what you want to look for. And you can get more experience and more knowledge about that sub-theme and then learn its keys, what its good price points are, and how it performs. So there are sub-themes within all of the different major themes, including City. Even though City is an eternal theme, there recently had been the Arctic theme, which has done well. And now there's the Volcano theme. Will that also do well? It's hard to know. But you can look at those smaller sections so you're not always worried about the 650 sets. The other great thing about focusing on a theme is then you can just look at price. If you see a good price, you know what it is, and you can buy it. So for example, with the Speed Champions, I'm always looking to see which one is the cheapest. I'm not really worried about which Speed Champion I'm getting because I don't know which one is going to do the best. So I have tons of Corvettes because for whatever reason, Corvettes were on sale more often than the others. So when the next single license theme comes out that seems really good, I will be sure to let you know. Right now, there doesn't really seem to be one, but sticking with sort of these common themes, Toys R Us has a sale, so what do? Hey, more Speed Champions. So I buy Speed Champions, right? My sub-theme of the 4 cars, now I have all of Series 3. I'm set. It makes it easy. When you've identified your sub-theme, it makes it easy. All right, so my next show, I'm going to be talking about the store exclusive sets. So the sets that LEGO puts out that are only available at one store, and how do those perform, and should you be looking at those as key sets to acquire? So until next time, LEGO on.